Hi, this is Keith Curtis with more Things I Have Discovered. God is all about forgiveness. Driven by this massive, incomprehensible, unfathomable, unearnable love, here He is, our Creator, who has completely invested Himself in a race of people that have turned their backs on Him. And yet, He still loves us. How many times have you heard someone say things like, "I could never forgive what he did to me"? Or, "When she apologizes, then maybe I'll forgive her." Or, "What do I have to forgive? I did nothing wrong. They should be the ones to apologize to me." Holding on to unforgiveness, to hurt the one who's offended you, may seem like the right decision, but it only seems that way. Recently, I heard George Sotolongo make a statement that just shocked me and shook me with a revelation and an awareness that is life-changing. And this is what he said: "Unforgiveness is like drinking a glass of poison and expecting the other person to die." A few years ago, when Mel Gibson released the film The Passion of the Christ, hundreds of thousands of people got their first look at what actually happened when Jesus died for our sin. In that telling of the biblical story, from the moment of his arrest, Jesus was brutalized. Acted in a language that most don't even speak today, the message yet was very clear. The abuse he suffered, the beating, the crucifixion, and the humiliation were beyond description. If you saw the film, you would recall that the only sounds being heard in the theater were sobs and cries as people came to a realization of what truly happened that day. And yet, it is possible that even that presentation of his suffering was not the whole story. As though this weren't enough, Jesus was also bearing in his body the pain and ravages of every disease, not only at that time, but that would ever fall upon the human race, as well as the consequences of judgment for the sin of every man, woman, and child from the beginning of creation to the end of the age. In the Good News Bible, Isaiah 52:14 describes the crucifixion this way: "Many people were shocked when they saw him. He was so disfigured that he hardly looked human." And while he hung there, suffering more than any man has ever suffered, the one thing that was on his heart is that which he spoke out of his mouth: "Forgive them, Father. They don't know what they are doing." If forgiveness is the most important thing to God Himself, should it not also be the most important thing to us? This is Keith Curtis.